Hey, Algebra 1. I'm still in the principal's office. I'm in Mr. Qualls' office still. He's got all these signed baseballs. Do you think I should maybe take one? I don't know. That looks like they're worth some money. What do you guys think? You let me know. I'll see if I can sneak back in and maybe steal one of his signed baseballs. Okay, this video, what you need to have in front of you are your checkpoint number 2 notes. Now remember, checkpoints are different than short cycles. Checkpoints cover things that we've already expected you to show mastery on. We're just checking in with you to see what you remember. It's a piece called retention. So what do you remember? So we're going to do 2 practice problems, and then you're going to take 4-question checkpoint, and then you're going to put your answers into Canvas. So let's see what checkpoint 2 is all about. Oh, something you guys are very familiar with. Evaluating expressions and order of operations. That's what your last short cycle was on. You've been doing this, but we're going to just check in and see what you guys remember. So example 1 says, evaluate the expression when x equals -5. So let's put in some stuff here. So biggest thing that we saw on that short cycle is you guys are not willing to do a little bit more writing. And those of you who did this, got things right. Those of you who refused to put in these parentheses, that's where some of those, that's where a lot of those mistakes happened. So take the time and wherever you see an X, put in parentheses. Now, remember, this is just function notations, input, outputs. So my input, which I'm going to write in green, is -5. And the minute you have put that in for your X, it's back to order of operations. It's back to, okay, where are my parentheses? Where are my exponents and things like that? Okay, so let's go through here. The parentheses we have, but they're simplified as far as we can go. But we do have an exponent right here. So what is -5 squared? Now be careful here. This is -5 in parentheses. Put it into your calculator with parentheses and you're going to get the right answer. So a -5 times a -5 is +25. Okay, that's what that means. And I'm going to just do this step by step, so I'm just rewriting everything else. I'm not doing any other work. I'm just doing one step at a time. Well, I might do a few here. I might do a couple extra steps, but for right now, I'm just going to worry about my P and my PEMDAS. Okay, so -5 squared is 25. Now, I've got to figure out what comes next. Well, I have 2 multiplications here. I have 2 times 25, and I have -3 times -5. So I'm going to do my multiplication. 2 times 25 is 50. And -3 times a -5 is a +15. And then I have this +2 hanging out here. Okay, now I'm down just to one thing. I'm down to just addition. And so I'm going to work my problem from left to right now. So I'm just going to work my problem left to right because I have just adding left. Okay, so I'm going to take this 50 plus 15. When I take 50 plus 15, I get 65. And then I'm going to add it to the 12. And when his phone is ringing. You think I should answer it? What do you think, guys? Hi, this is Mr. Qualls. Maybe I can give someone detention. Okay, let's finish this problem. 65, not plus 12, plus 2. So 65 plus 2 gives me 67. And there's your answer. Okay, now notice how much work I wrote out. Yeah, that's a lot of work, guys. But guess what? You're not going to get it wrong when you write out that much work. Take your time on these, write things out, and yes, please put in parentheses. Okay, pause the video here and finish this problem if you haven't already. All right, let's scroll down and take a look at example number 2. Oh, look at example 2. That is such a nice question. We've got a lot going on here, so let's see what we can figure out. But this time I have 2. I've got X and Y. Well, it's going to be the same process. Take your time and write it out. So I have 2 times Y squared. Put parentheses there. Okay, before you even start the problem, times X. put parentheses there. And if you need to, put your multiplication sign there so you're multiplying all that. Now we have this denominator, and I have an x. Put parentheses where your x is, plus 2. Now, once you've filled in your parentheses where all your variables were, now go ahead and fill in what everything is. So y is negative 2. X is 4. X is 4. Okay, guess where we're at now, guys? We're at PEMDAS. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about evaluating expressions. Once you've filled it in, you're at something you definitely know. Now, this big division bar is like a grouping symbol. It's kind of like parentheses. You have to sort of think about this first. And so you're going to have to do the numerator first and then the denominator. So let's take a look at the numerator. Let's just focus on the numerator. We have a squared, so it's negative 2 squared. Well, negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. And then I have to multiply by another 4. Now I come down here, there's really nothing I need to do with that 4. It just becomes 4 plus 2. All right, again, you have to think about this fraction in pieces. You have to simplify the numerator and then simplify the denominator. Then we'll talk about the fraction. So let's look at the numerator. 2 times 4 times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, now let's focus in on the denominator. We have 4 plus 2, which gives us 6. That is a horrible looking 6. Let me do that. Okay. So 32 over 6. Now you could leave it. You could type this into Canvas, and you could type in 32 over 6, and you're going to get it wrong because there's going to be directions in Canvas that say, every time you get a fraction, make sure it is in the lowest terms possible. So I have to look at 32 and 6 and say, can I reduce 32 over 6? Sure we can. Now I'm going to show you my work, but most of you just do this in your head. So what I do is I look at 32 and 2 or 32 and 6, and I'm like, I bet I could factor a 2 out of that. So I know 32 is just 2 times 16. And I know 6 is 2 times 3. And if I write it like that, again, most of you do this part in your head, but all I'm doing is like, oh, 2 divided by 2 goes to 1. That goes away. And I'm left with my reduced fraction. 16 thirds is the same thing as 32 sixths. It's just in reduced form. But this is the answer that we're going to want to see in Canvas. So when you put your answers for your checkpoint in Canvas, and the directions say, write your answers in the lowest possible terms. That's what we're talking about. Okay, pause the video here, finish this problem if you haven't already, and then let's talk about what is expected of you for today. All right, checkpoint 2 is on the back of your notes. Remember, every checkpoint is 4 problems, and we're just checking in on a skill. Can you evaluate expressions? Take your time on these 4 questions, really work through them, try them twice to see if you get the same answer. When you're ready, then you need to come down here and do this. Put your answers into Canvas. Okay. Have a great online day, guys. Thank you for working with us. And I'm going to see how much money I can get for Mr. Qualls' signed baseballs. Again, shh, don't tell him. Have a good day, guys.